All right, and it's the top of the hour, so let's get going. Before I introduce our speaker, I just want to go over a couple housekeeping items. I'm your host, Jackie Davis of Mental Health Connecticut. Today's workshop will be recorded and will be made available on our website following this session. There will be time for questions at the end of the workshop. If you'd like to ask a question, click on the Q&A icon on your screen and type in your question at any time during the presentation. You will also have the option to ask your question verbally at the end of the workshop. While all microphones will be muted during the presentation, you may request to unmute your line by clicking the raised hand icon on your screen. All questions will be addressed in the order they are received, and any questions that we are unable to respond to during the workshop, you will receive an email response. Now, I am pleased to introduce today's expert, Mending Art Coordinator, Amy Smith. Amy is she is an artist and an art advocate. Amy has owned and operated art galleries and shares her experiences and creativity through her work as a curator, juror, consultant, published writer, and public speaker on the benefits of art and well-being. She has assisted and represented hundreds of artists and educated the broader community on art appreciation. Please join me in welcoming Amy Smith.
Hi. Hi. Thank you so much, Jackie. I'm so happy to be here today. And I want to thank you all for joining us. If you've met me before, you know that if I'm not creating art, I love talking about it. And so I'm so grateful to be able to be one of the panelists here with MHC at home, sharing Mending Art inspiration with you. Again, thank you so much for joining us. I want to start off by asking everybody, how are you today? How are you feeling? You'll see a box pop up in your screen, and if you could just let me know on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you feeling today? With 10 being the best, and we'd love to hear. So let me know, how are you doing today? I'll give you a minute to think about that. Great. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I hope that you have had an opportunity to gather some of your art materials to work with us today. If you've brought your sketchbook, I brought my sketchbook here. And if you've brought some drawing materials, today I've brought my colored pencil. I love color, so I always make sure I have my colored pencil. I brought some markers. Again, I love color, so this is a fun time to pull out your drawing materials, your crayons. Bring out your crayons. Let's do some creating today. And I also wanted to share, a couple weeks ago, I was looking for something to put some of my drawing materials in, and so I just made myself a little container to hold my drawing materials and my paint brushes. And I just used a can and some fun comics that I had found. And I just glued them on there. So if that's something you'd like to do, we can share that little step-by-step guide with you after our webinar today. And you're welcome to make one for yourself at home. I like mine. It makes me smile. It makes me happy. So once you've had your drawing materials out and your sketchbook, we can get started. All right, if you don't have a sketchbook, that's all right. You can use a blank piece of paper or anything else that you have that you can draw on today. So let's take out our sketchbook. And to begin, I'd like you to draw just a rectangle right in the middle of your sketchbook. Okay, make it big, make it large enough so you have room in the middle of it. Has everyone had a chance to do that? We want to start by just getting our creative energy moving. And a great way to do that is to just start with circles. So what I've done here is I started framing my rectangle with circles. You can use big circles, you can use small circles, you can connect circles. And we're just going to start drawing circles all around your rectangle. Okay, they're going to frame your rectangle. And you can use your colored pencils or markers or your crayons, whatever you're comfortable with drawing with. If you have a pen, you can use that. All right, so I'm going to give you all some time to start working on your circles. And it's very repetitive, but it'll help you really connect with that blank page. Okay. So while you're drawing those circles, I want to talk with you a little bit about what mending art is and let you know some of the benefits. There's so many benefits to the creative process, to using that creative process. A lot of people say that it helps them feel calming. It helps them feel less anxiety, less stress, lower blood pressure. When they have finished a piece, they say that there's a feeling of accomplishment and that they have more ability to focus. Mending art is about really being able to connect with yourself and then being able to connect with others through your artwork. And it started at Mental Health Connecticut's Independence Center in Waterbury. And it started as a small meetup of some people for our art club, and then it expanded into a regular weekly workshop. And soon enough, there was art happening almost all day, every day throughout our program. And it grew to, over 100 participants who were creating or participating in some of our mending art activities. And from there, we were able to take our Mending Art program, which is one of Mental Health Connecticut's wellness programs, statewide. So we've been offering mending art to our participants in Waterbury and Torrington, West Hartford, Danbury, Stamford, and Bridgeport. So there are hundreds of people who are now utilizing the arts in their daily activities and who are then sharing it with others in the community through exhibits, through visits to museums, and running workshops at places like the Boys and Girls Club, or visiting people in the community and talking about art. Art is a great way to really see ourselves first and then be able to share what we've done with others, and it starts a conversation. So again, there are benefits to this process, and the artists that we've been working with have been saying that when they go into the studio, they're surprised. They're surprised at how much it has helped them feel calm, feel less anxious, feel more focused. And we hope that every one of you will take the opportunity in your daily activities to also incorporate some art into them and be able to feel those benefits also. I'd like to take a minute and just pause on your circles. I hope everyone's got some circles happening, a frame of circles around their rectangle. And let's look at the middle, at the rectangle. Art really starts from within first, and then we're able to share it. And first, where we share it with ourselves, we see it's a reflection of ourselves. And for any artist, looking at a blank canvas can feel really intimidating. So we wonder, where do we begin? What is it that we want to say? And having an intention with your work is really a great place to start. So what we like to do with Mending Art is have a place to begin and kind of a prompt to think about and consider before we start working on that blank page. And so today we have picked the prompt, our theme of peace, because we can all use some more peace in our lives. And art is a great way to find peace. So when you're looking at that blank canvas, that blank page, and you're thinking about that theme of peace, I want you to start asking yourself some questions about what peace is to you. What colors feel peaceful to you? What activities do you do that you feel peaceful when you're doing? And what places do you like to go where you're feeling some peace? And I'd like to open that up if anyone would like to share some of their ideas around places or activities that they do that help them feel peace. So if you want to go down to the chat button on the bottom of your screen, please feel free to share some of your ideas around that. Oh, hi. Hi, everyone. Good to see you here. Yes, the beach. The beach is the first place I think of when I think of that peaceful feeling. And I think of the sand on my feet and the sunshine on our faces. And I think of the listening to the waves coming in and out. And definitely a place that I think a lot of us start feeling more peace. We have yoga. Yoga is a great practice that helps people feel more connected and peaceful. Palm trees and soothing music, definitely those will help you feel more peaceful. At the park, going out into the park or hiking in the woods. These are some of the responses I'm seeing up here. We have going out into the garden, being around the flowers and putting your hands in the dirt and planting those seeds can be incredibly peaceful. And there's just so many. Singing. I just saw singing. Yep. Singing is very peaceful. I know that for myself, even just getting a hot cup of tea can be calming and relaxing, and I feel peaceful. Or when you're in the kitchen and you've just baked some fresh bread from a family recipe, and your kitchen is filled with the smell of that fresh bread baking. Fishing, I just saw fishing can be very relaxing, absolutely. Being by the brook or the river, a lake, and just being out there in nature can feel very calming. So another thing I like to do that helps me feel more peace, I like to read. Reading is definitely a place where you can go and just go into another place and hear the stories of other people and get new ideas from the writer. And writing is an art form. That's another thing you can do with an activity like this is you can write based off of your themes. Painting is peaceful. Thank you. So books for me are very peaceful, and they that might be an image that I want to work on drawing. I might want to work on drawing the books. I might want to work on a drawing of a teacup or maybe fishing or being out in the mountains can be very peaceful for some people, in the garden with all the flowers. So when you're working on your art, I want you to really think about what does it mean to you? And that's your intention. You're finding a peaceful place in the drawing. And so today's theme on peace is where I would like you to take that empty rectangle that you've got and start working on a drawing that will reflect your peace, your place of peace. Okay, so if you want to take out your colored pencils or markers again and start adding to the blank rectangle you have on your page in your sketchbook, okay? There's no wrong way to do this. If you're feeling that you don't know where to begin, I would start with color. What colors do you want to work with? And take those materials out, and as soon as you pick one up, and put it to the paper, it's going to start happening. That creative energy will start coming forth. And you can start anywhere on the paper. You can start right in the center if you want. You can start on the sides. You can start up top or on the bottom. But as soon as you put that pencil to the paper, it'll start happening. You just take that first step. People often ask, how do they have inspiration? They're not feeling inspiration. And the best way to do that is to take out your materials, your art materials, and begin. As soon as you take that step, the other ones will quickly follow, and you'll enjoy the process. So, people always say that after they've worked on their art, they feel good. So let's start adding that into our activities. So one quote that I really enjoy is that you use a glass mirror to see your face, and you use works of art to see your soul. So that's a quote by George Bernard Shaw. You might not know initially what it is that your creative voice is trying to express, but again, as soon as you begin, it'll start guiding you, and trust your process. So I started thinking about how I feel peace. What are places that I feel the most peace? And I kept going back to nature, being outdoors. I find that in the evening when the stars are shining, and I look up at the night sky and I can see the treetops, and I look out into the moon and the world above, and I can dream. Sometimes with my little cup of coffee or tea, just to be outside and listen to the wind and listen to any birds or nature. It's very calming for me, and I'm able to sit by the brook and listen to the water moving. That's all very, very calming to me. So I decided that that was going to be the image that I wanted to draw, and I'll show you what I worked on. I had a little bit of time before the webinar to work on this, so that's my drawing. In my bubble frame, I was able to draw that sky, that night sky, the dreamy night sky, and up to the moon. I love looking up at the moon, and the trees, and it was all very relaxing. I love hearing the owls, and watching the tree limbs go in the breeze, and that brook. It's all very peaceful to me, and that's the place I want to be. So that's what I worked on, and it's going to be different for every one of us. And trust your unique process. Trust your story. The artists are storytellers, and through their work, we're able to really hear about their lives and about the way that they view the world. So be the storyteller, and let's see what you create. At the end of the webinar, you will have an opportunity to find out ways to share your work with us, and we'll be sending that out to everybody. So again, what does peace mean to you? And I'm very interested in seeing what everyone's making, what everyone's created. I asked somebody one day, what is the creative process like for you? How does it feel to you? And they told me that was a very difficult feeling to describe. But the way that they would describe it best is to say that it feels like they're falling in love. And I do hope that everybody has an opportunity to find their artwork and fall in love with art. There's so many opportunities to connect with others and to get perspectives from others through art. And I hope that you will take all of those opportunities and use them and help them guide you in your own work. So how's everybody doing out there? Is everybody drawing? Feel free to send in some thoughts on the chat button and let us know how you're doing. I can't wait to see what everybody is drawing. It's very exciting for me. And I hope for you also to be able to see what's inside and bring that forth. That creative energy needs to come forth. Good. So I was wondering if anyone has any questions for me. I'd love to answer them for you, or try to answer them for you. So if you have any questions for me and you want to hit that chat button and or raise your hand, I'd love to hear what you have to ask.
Hey, Amy, we have one question. Shaw has raised his hand, so I'm going to unmute and let him ask.
Hi, Shaw.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. How are you?
Not too bad. How you doing, Amy?
Good. Thank you.
So, how perfect? Well, what's your thoughts on how perfect art has to be? I mean, does it have to be perfect?
Well, I think that depends on what the definition of perfect. I think we're all unique, and when we start creating in our own unique way, that is perfect. When you're very honest with yourself and honest with the direction that your creativity is bringing you, that's perfect. That's what we want to see. We want everyone to be where they are and take their next steps. And a great way to do that is through the creative process. So that's what perfect is. Taking that opportunity, trying. That's all we ask, is that you try and experience it. And I think that when we look back, we may say, hey, you know what, I wish that I made that line up there a little longer, or that this part over here was a little darker. And we can go back and we can add that, or we can take that knowledge into the next piece that we do. But it's very important to connect with where you're at right now and then be able to move forward from there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaw. We have another question. Are those artworks behind you? These are actually artworks from family and friends, from my some of my closest family and friends. I cherish the artwork that I have in my collection, and I love to surround myself with it. And I hope you do too. I hope that you have artwork that makes you feel good all around you. It has energy in it, and you're going to feel that energy when it's around you. Thank you. That's a great question.
I have one more raised hand, Amy. If we can take another one.
Sure.
This is from Sean.
Okay.
Sean, you are unmuted. Go right ahead.
Hi, Sean.
Oh, all right. We're having a little technical difficulty unmuting Sean's microphone.
Okay. Well, we have another question. So while we're working on unmuting Sean, I'd like to answer Joseph's. Joseph asked, what's my favorite medium? And I love them all. Whatever I can be creative with, I like to use. Whether it be through writing, whether it be through dance, or I love painting, I love drawing. I love, one thing I like to do a lot is work with cut paper and assemble it into certain designs. I like working with clay, and I think everything. I like just using whatever materials I have to be creative with. So thank you. That's a great question, Joseph. I'm curious what your favorite medium is to work with also. Okay, it looks like Sean is unmuted.
He should be, Sean. Go
Hi,
ahead.
Sean.
Hey, Amy.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good, good.
Yes. It's a unity of my triangles.
Oh, you've been doing triangles today?
Yes, I have. It's a unity of triangles.
Oh, the unity of triangles. That's great. And what inspired that?
No, I think in my mind, it's I usually do unity. And when I do unity, it's like collaboration into one. That's what I did.
It's a great
And,
reason.
and one question is that where does Canvas originate from?
Where did Canvas originate from? That's a very, very good question. And you know what? It's not a question I've asked myself before. So I am going to have to look into that. And as soon as I find out that answer, I will let you know what that is. Okay?
Okay.
All right. And I'll share it with everybody. We'll make sure that we get that answer to you. Very good question. I
Thank
look
you.
forward to finding out about it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh, here we have Joseph again, writing. Yes, writing and painting, Joseph. Totally. I love them both. Love them both. So I would like to also let you know that when you're working on your art and you really start connecting with yourself, you go into a journey, and no matter where you are, your art will bring you on a journey elsewhere. And the more you work on your art, the more you're familiar with that journey. And I just want to put that out there when we're all practicing our social distancing right now, and we're maybe at home and we're looking for something to do or some place to go, your art will take you there. So experiment with it, explore it. It's that exploration will help you better understand yourself, and it'll help you better understand the world around you. I have a couple other questions before we wrap up here today. I hope you've all had just at least a few minutes to really work in that sketchbook. And I'm wondering now, how are you feeling? Are you, again, on a scale of 1 to 10, are you feeling very good? Are you feeling a sense of peace? Are you feeling calm? I'm curious now, how are you feeling after this art activity? Let us know. Love to know how you're doing. And that should pop up on your screen. And if you could just hit the number, 10 being the best, how are you feeling right now on a scale of 1 to 10? And I'd also like to ask you, would you use any of the techniques that you've learned here today about working with a prompt when you're looking at that blank page and asking yourself questions around that theme? Would you use that? Would you take a few minutes to work on your art during the day or during the week? Is that something that would be beneficial to you? I'd love to know. Okay. So again, a box should pop up on your screen, and if you could just let us know how our webinar today helped hopefully inspire you to create and utilize the arts. Okay. So again, I want to thank you all so much for being here, and I hope that you will keep working in your sketchbook. Use this theme of peace today, and I hope you will share it with us. I'd love to see what you've been working on. And if you have other projects and ideas, we'd love to hear about them. So thank you so much, and keep creating, okay? Peace, everybody. Peace.